We are live. We are so very live here. Beer Guys Radio, live on the World Wide Web, Brian.
Did you mention live? We're so live.
Yes, we're live. Okay. Yes, I did mention that. So, y'all, thanks for joining us today. Come chat with us. We're going to talk to FlyteCo Brewing Company. If you have a comment, leave it in the chat. We'll be back in a few minutes to chat with you in the chat. So, let's do this, Nate.
Open up a tab, grab a seat, and pour a pint. It's time for the Beer Guys Radio Show.
You want free beer? Go to the brewery.
Dedicated to the art, science, and enjoyment of craft beer.
Yo, what's wrong with the beer we got?
Now, here are your hosts, Tim Dennis and Brian Hewitt.
And welcome to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We are broadcasting from the Beer Guys Radio Studios. And this week we are talking to FlyteCo Brewing, Brian.
Yes.
How about that? I'm Tim Dennis, and Brian Hewitt, you're here as well.
I am. Hey, Tim. Joining us today, we have Morgan O'Sullivan, a co-owner of FlyteCo, and Jason Slingsby, a co-owner and head brewer for FlyteCo. We're going to talk about aviation and beer, drinking in air traffic control towers, and taking to the sky to get fresh hops. Guys, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. I think sky hops, that's the preferred way to get them there.
The sky hops?
Yeah. It's definitely preferred. Hope you're doing well today. You're in Denver, good old Colorado. How's the weather out there? Are you in spring yet?
Oh, we're very much in spring. It was sunny and snowing this morning.
Oh, so that's okay. Gotcha.
So sunshine is the main indicator of spring then, yes?
Yeah. No, it's sunny all the time. It was temperamental weather, I think, is the indicator of spring in Colorado. It was 75 on Sunday and raining yesterday. And like I said, sunny and snowing this morning. So, yeah, if you don't like it, just wait a few minutes.
It'll flip around. We had, I think just a week ago, we had a dip here in Georgia where I think we had some 20s, didn't we? At night, like 28 degrees and that. But we're back up to our typical spring weather of 80 degrees and pollen.
That's right.
So that's where we're back on it too.
Radioactive dust everywhere.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
My eyes are burning a little bit right now.
Yeah, the pollen. Now you are better with the pollen now than you were a few years ago. You get your allergy shot.
I do
so
get
it doesn't get you
shot.
As much, right?
And I love those things. Within a day of getting the first one, all the symptoms miraculously just disappeared, and it made me think that this is too perfect. It can't possibly work, but it seems to be all right.
Are those shots low carb and gluten free?
They are. Yeah,
okay, good.
Completely fat free, low carb, sugar free. Yeah, I mean
that's great.
They're great for any diet.
They sound nice. Very good stuff. You know, the cool thing about spring though, Beer Fest season is up on us, and we've got Brian. We're going to be out this weekend partying the Georgia Craft Brewers Guild. Putting on the Georgia Brewers Festival. So all the Georgia beer. And then the weekend after that, we've got a little beer fest here, guys. And we're going to be celebrating all things low ABV. So lots of Pilsners and other lagers and just having a good time with that. So are they starting to kick off there in Colorado? Are the beer fest rolling again?
They are. We've got our first big one coming up this weekend, Collaboration Fest. We partnered with the guys at Copper Kettle Brewing this year. We went the opposite of your low ABV fest. We did Imperial Schwartz
the other way.
Ours.
Okay, fair.
But it's a great way to kind of kick off the festival season, and all the breweries are excited, and to have everyone out again after a couple of years of not really doing much. Everyone's gonna have a good time.
Imperial Schwartz beer. Wow,
it's gonna feel like a family reunion at this point.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. I remember getting back out for the first time, and you're just excited to be there. It doesn't matter what is being served or what's going on. Seeing your friends, your brewer friends, and other beer folks out there.
I was at a late to a beer event, but I made it over, and a guy who I haven't seen in quite a while saw me. He got a little choked up. He had a few beers, but he got a little choked up. Like, I remember we used to hang out all the time, and it was a moving experience. It was touching for everybody involved.
Before the plague, we used to spend so much time together.
In the before time.
In the before times,
yes.
we were there. We were there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, is GABF coming back full force this year?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
pretty sure.
See,
so
that's
Yeah, things are starting to feel like they're headed back towards normal. Or
Feeling normal.
I stopped planning my life that far ahead a couple years ago.
There's no telling. I just saw there's another quote dominant strain, and
this weekend, as in this Saturday, there is Collab Fest that we're going to, and that one's on. You're
going there no matter what. Yes, and Georgia Beer Fest, we will be there too, no matter what. No matter what goes on.
My looking glass says that's still good.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, other than the global pandemic and threat of World War III, everything's fine.
Oh yeah, totally
perfect.
So just fantastic.
This is fine.
This is fine. This is fine.
Absolutely.
Gosh.
Well, Tim, I guess we should probably talk about the beers of the week, huh?
Absolutely, Brian. Guess what? Great list of beers to drink, Brian. Wow. Yes, we do. We want to thank our friends at The Nest for sponsoring this segment. Craft Beer Barbecue, downtown Kennesaw, Georgia. Check them out. Sit on the patio before the pollen comes too strong. It's just light now, so you can get that patio weather in before it gets crazy. For the beers, FlyteCo Brewing. We've got some beers here. We are currently sipping a Belgian Saison. And guys, we're going to talk Saison a little more in depth here now that we've got this in just a little bit. But Belgian Saison, Brian, we love these, and we just don't see enough of them.
Yeah, not very many of them out there right now.
But we are currently sipping Tipsy Nipper.
Yes. You said that safely.
I did, man.
Go in a lot of different ways, I think.
We're sipping Tipsy Nipper Belgian Saison. We also have a Heading 270, which is a West Coast IPA. And then we have a Ski Plane Stout, which is an American stout, Brian. So a good little trip there to take. Across some styles there. So that's going to be a good time. Brian, guess what? You've got time for news this week.
Oh my goodness. I've got so much. I got more time than I was expecting, but I think I got enough. So have a big influence on the beer world as well as the rest of the world. Heineken has announced plans to permanently exit Russia after determining that business there is no longer sustainable nor viable in the current environment. This follows them completely halting operations for a while in Russia for the first time in 20 years earlier this month. So they plan to sell off all their Russia-based assets, and they're saying they're not going to accept any kind of financial gain from the transaction. So I think it's kind of a break-even proposition. Apparently, there was a period where they will have to maintain some amount of token operations to mitigate the risk of nationalization of their assets. There's the very real risk that Putin might just say, "Oh, you're leaving. We're seizing your breweries." So. So they will pay their 1,800 Russian employees through the end of 2022. And if I read it right, this move is expected to cost Heineken around 400 million euros. So this is not going to be a cheap thing for them. Within hours of that Heineken announcement, Carlsberg also announces that they're getting out of Russia too. Interestingly, both these companies were rewarded initially by the stock market for their announcement. So they were slightly up after announcing this. Probably at least in part because selling your Russian assets before they get seized by the government is better for you financially than not.
Exactly.
Just not. So it's a bigger deal for Carlsberg to be leaving. They're a much bigger player in that market than Heineken with 27.3% of the market share. And that accounts for 13% of their profit, while it's only 2% for Heineken. And they employ 8,400 people, which is 1/5 of their total workforce. That's a lot of people there. On top of that, I also saw there was a note about AB InBev pulling Bud sales, and possibly good news for breweries that need to can beer. Ball Corp is also planning on getting rid of all their assets in Russia, so they will not be doing business there. So we may get some more cans out of this.
You think about this on a bigger scale. These are just beer-related industries that we're talking about now. I know I saw McDonald's was pulled out, and I believe Apple or Nike or one of those. Some pretty big players are getting out of there.
Yeah. I think I saw a reference to there being like 400 different U.S. companies or 400 different major companies. It may not have all been U.S. companies pulling out of Russia. The interesting thing there was a note about the McDonald's one within like 24 hours of them pulling out. Somebody filed for a Russian trademark on basically an identical logo for a different burger chain. Okay. So there's going to be a Russian McDonald's.
What was the one in Coming to America? McDougal's?
Oh, McDougal's. Yeah. So there may be a McDougal's over there. I think it was something I can't Vanya something. I don't want to say it because I'll probably butcher it, but didn't sound much like it, but there's going to be a replacement for it. So the guy who chained himself to the door when they were leaving, he may still get his burgers.
Of all the companies leaving, the one I've heard the most protest on has been McDonald's.
Yeah.
People like hoarding freezers full of cheeseburgers and stuff.
I've seen
They're really
that
not
too.
happy about it.
Yeah. So, Tim, big beer just can't catch a break.
Terrible.
A jury agrees that Molson Coors should have put the key back in Keystone. Stone's trademark infringement lawsuit against Molson Coors over the prominent use of the word Stone on their cans has gone to trial finally after 4 years of waiting, and the verdict came quickly. A federal jury has awarded Stone Brewing $56 million, which is well below the $216 million Stone was asking for, but it's a win. According to an official statement, Molson Coors is evaluating their appeal options, saying that this case was really a bit more about Stone's $464 million debt and not about brand confusion. So long story short, Molson Coors is going to make Stone pay to get that $56 million.
Yeah.
Yep.
Poor Keith Stone going to be living in a van down by the river, Brian.
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We do need to take a break, but we'll be back very soon with FlyteCo Brewing.
Opposite direction, abundance of time for news.
Do you guys remember Keith Stone?
Oh, 100%.
Gosh, Keith Stone.
Cool. He was the coolest.
He was, yeah. Yeah.
Keith's, hold on. I'm missing a reference here.
Keith Stone was there. He was like
he was the Keystone like icon sales rep guy in a bunch of commercials.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not up on the old Keystone commercials.
Do you remember? I think his name was Todd, the dude that Beavis and Butt had like idolized.
Oh yeah,
like he had a Monte Carlo, and he did well. Keith Stone was that guy, like long dark hair, and that he was the
he was straight from the set of like Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Like, so Keith Stone.
Yeah.
Coolest
guy at the party drinking Keystone.
Keystone, man. And I think Keystone also did the bitter beer face commercials.
Oh, I do remember the bitter beer face stuff. Yeah. I just didn't remember the Keith Stone thing. So,
and then craft beer answered with thousands.
Pretty shortly after that too, wasn't it? Yeah, almost immediately to Face Melter IPA.
Yep.
Palette Wrecker, that sort of thing.
Stephen Pete, Kettle Rock Brewing, always good to see you, Stephen. We appreciate you.
And Nate, cheers to Nate too.
Cheers to Nate. There you go, man. Look at that. You thought you got no respect, but Stephen Pete is there for you. So,
he is.
What's it? He said something. Low ABV Rocky Isle on Irish Stout.
Yeah.
There we go, man.
Yes,
good stuff. Good stuff. Awesome.
Well,
this is a tasty.
It is.
Saison.
Yeah, it's quite nice. We need to get.
Yeah, how's it drinking?
Saison talk. It's
guys,
drinking
this
real
is awesome.
nice.
This is really good. I dig it. I don't have any more. These guys.
There is another can in the fridge, and it's probably colder than this can.
Would you grab the other one, please, Nate? I think I do want some more saison.
Yeah, I'm down for more. Again, it's an unusual treat for us.
What are you guys sipping on?
I've got some of the Ski Plane Stout. Same one we sent you there.
All right, cool.
I got the Aero Mexico Mexican lager.
Aero Mexico. All right.
Yeah,
that saison's been a favorite.
All right.
It's just such a versatile beer. Hot day, cold day, with food, without food, spicy food, hearty food. It's the utility beer, and I don't.
It really is, man.
It's appreciated that way.
Saison's cool to party with everybody.
That's right. It's the
Keith Stone.
the leather.
It is.
That's right. The Keith Stone of beers.
Yeah, for sure. There's no possible trademark infringement there. I think we should run with that.
Yeah, you need to come out with a Keith Stone beer.
A Keith Stone beer, but you know, wasn't it? Who's the brewery?
We won't sell it in Russia, though. I promise.
Okay, well that's all that matters. You're good then. You're solid.
I remember. You guys know the brewery Hoof Hearted in Ohio.
Mm-mm.
Okay, seriously, for like the first year that I knew about them, I'd only said their name in my head.
Yeah.
And the first time I said it out loud, right.
Yes.
So the first, I'm like, oh. And it's funny when I actually said that, I was like, I got it. But they did a lot of, puns and jokes, like seeing what they could get away with.
Their can art is awesome. I respect and I'm amused by the fact that they chose to really go basically puns and bad jokes for their entire business identity.
What's your marketing plan? Terrible names, bad puns, just atrocious can art.
Yes, fart jokes and
Yeah.
a lot of dudes in wrestling outfits on cans.
let's
That's
go
the
with
thing. Yeah, yeah.
I actually could see
Badly drawn too.
Keystone would actually fit well.
Oh, yeah.
on one of their cans there.
He might be what they've modeled their guys
could be.
after.
It
It's
could be.
possible.
Good stuff. Yeah,
Admirable.
this saison is excellent, man. We've always explored as many of them as we can. You know, sit down and we were talking the other day about. Oh, you were just talking about DDH saison today, right?
Yes. The other day on Twitter, it occurred to me out of the blue, like I would love to try. I don't even know where that idea came. You know what? That idea came to me doing research for the show, and it was probably because they were. We'll get into it, but they're unique hop harvesting situation that they had the one time. But I was just thinking, double dry hopped.
That's guys. This is really good. Like, you know how you drink a beer and you're like, that's good, and you go on, you keep drinking, and it gets better and better. The more I drink of this, the more I really, 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 really enjoy this. This is really nice.
Can we get you to fly us a keg?
Yeah, come on, jump in the
plane. We can figure
man.
something out.
Hey, anything's possible.
Yeah,
we've got.
Keg weighs less than either of us, so I mean,
see, you're set, man.
Hang on, drones, they could carry that. I mean, I don't know about
a keg to fly a plane.
That's right.
It. So,
it's funny you mentioned that. We've put beer in planes, kind of flown it around. It's been great. You know,
that's awesome, man. That's awesome. We've got a really nice GA airport here too. Peachtree DeKalb, PDK, which I think is the largest GA airport east of the Mississippi.
I think I've heard that as well. Yeah, general aviation. Yeah. I'm not as hip on the lingo, but yes, I believe that is correct.
I like to pretend like I know what I'm talking about because I've got about 20 hours, of flight training. So I'm almost a pilot, guys. Almost. So close.
You're right there.
I'm
what were you
right
flying in?
I was in a Piper Cherokee 140.
Cool.
So I actually looked at Cherokee 3089 Tango was my tail number on that. I still remember that, and that's been long time ago. But I actually looked the tail number up the other day, curious, and it looks like it's still doing its thing out there. I think it was a 70s model when I was those
last.
Man, it was the old traditional analog instruments and that, and I get my wife at the time got me a discovery flight with the airport here because I said I really need to get back in this, and I got in a little set. I think it was a 172, and they had the full glass cockpit, and I'd never seen. I'm like, this is amazing, man. This is phenomenal what they're doing in these little planes there. So much different.
It's futuristic. It's fun. There's a lot of nice safety redundancies, but it's also fun. It takes it from little more of that kind of steam gauge feel to video game.
It does. It was amazing. Yeah. And I don't think people realize even getting, 2,000 feet in the air, that your view just totally changes. I mean, if you've never done that, it's a different world when you get off the ground. Like flying around Kennesaw, Brian, you can see Allatoona and that quarry that's there off of McCullum. I mean, that's a massive pit. That's a rock quarry there. So,
I've been up recently in a hot air balloon, so I've seen some of that stuff at a fairly high altitude. But
Well, the cool part about that is it's not just a different view; it's a different perspective. One of the things that our third partner Eric says all the time about flying is that it just makes your problems look real small. You're having a bad day. You go up and you're looking down on everything. You see how small and insignificant all the little houses and buildings or that giant warehouse that you drive by and how small that actually is in comparison to the grand scheme of things. And none of it really matters, and it's nice to take that step back sometimes.
Brings some perspective to everything there, right? When you get up and realize how minuscule it all is.
It's a flight therapy.
And then you go too far and you have an existential crisis because you're like, you're small and meaningless. So,
well, that's what
there's a sweet spot somewhere.
That's it, right? Find the middle ground there.
If you overshoot, you just have a couple beers after you're back on the ground and safe, and you'll
bring it back. Right. Let's bring it back in. Bring it back in, man.
Leveling experience.
Half microwave a pot pie, grab you a beer. Call it a day, man. So
hey, man, it's either too hot or too cold. You can't do those things right.
I'm gonna go outside and jump off the park bench and microdose flying.
There you go. Stretch your neck way up.
Exactly.
I hear that's decriminalized in some states.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's technically legal. I think I could. I mean, I might hurt myself.
Well, it might not be legal, but it's not criminal.
Yeah, it's like, the
There's
government can't
this
tell me what to
weird,
do.
like,
I will
in-between.
jump.
There is. We're running into that here some in they decriminalized like possession in city of Atlanta. And the issue with that is there's also county officers in city of Atlanta. And people are like, yay, when they said, yeah, marijuana decriminalized in city of Atlanta, possession under so much. Everybody partied. They're like, whoa, 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 whoa. No, no, no. It's not that it's legal. It's decriminalized. And this is only in city of Atlanta. So if you're in the city of Atlanta, but you got pulled over by Fulton County, you can still get in trouble for this.
Yeah,
so
that's right. Get outside of that city.
yeah.
A confusing, mismatched rollout by the local city government. That sounds like a first.
Never happened. It is it's the first time this has ever happened. Literally.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, I'll just stick to jumping off of park fences and things. Like
Make
that.
plane
Please
noises
send the video while you do it.
Yeah.
We'd like to
Scream.
Have somebody
we'd
else.
like to share it on our social and
See?
you know.
So you've committed
Put
to parkour is
Put
essentially.
a FlyteCo can
Kind
in
of
each
like
hand
very
when you do
lazy
it there.
parkour. Yeah.
When
Oh
you
yeah.
make the jump there.
I'll be flapping my arms.
Oh yes.
Lots of flapping.
Icarus takes flight.
That's right.
So
We can get Morgan to do it from here too, so we can cut.
Yeah,
a
we'll
video
bounce it
together
out.
on
It'll
it.
be good.
see?
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Along those notes, I did see someone one time that I forget what the countries were. It was like a guy in Australia and a guy in another country, and somehow these guys found each other where they were apparently like
They made the
directly.
sandwich.
They made an earth sandwich. Yes, they
Oh.
did. They both
That
took
was-
a piece of bread.
Piece of bread and put it on the ground.
Yeah,
Exact opposite.
Delicious.
the earth.
that's it, man. The earth sandwich.
Hey man, there was a lot of shit in that sandwich though.
There was.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yes, there was.
You had to
Sorry.
fly way up to see how insignificant that
That's
was.
right.
So, good stuff. All right,
Ooh.
Nate, shall we get back into we got Georgia Tech flight. Really interesting.
Oldest
Okay.
collegiate flying club. Okay. I did
That's
not
cool.
know.
They need a flying rambling wreck. Get that old. Is that a Model T, Steven? Model T, Model A. Put some wings on that. Rock and roll.
Hey man, you make anything go fast enough, technically it'll fly.
Yeah. Put wings.
That is a
Go.
good point. Yeah. Or
Yeah.
drop it and it'll kind of fly.
Yeah. It's flying. It's just for how far, how long.
It's not necessarily going out or, like,
Every time you jump off the bench, scream in amazement, I'm flying.
yeah.
And then just keep doing that again and again. So,
Yeah.
all right. Good stuff.
Woo.
All right, guys, back to beer talk. Here we go.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Now, back to the Beer Guys radio show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. Remember, all episodes are available on demand. So if you missed the broadcast, get the podcast. Beer Guys Radio is available on the Podcast Park and all popular and unpopular podcasting apps. Now let's get back to FlyteCo Brewing.
FlyteCo Brewing, we talked about in the first segment that we were sipping Saison, Brian. So we were sipping Tipsy Nipper
Yes.
Saison. And guys, if you don't mind, we're going to jump right in here to talking some Saison talk, because we talked a little bit off the air that we are huge Saison fans. We've talked on the show before, Brian. We like to brew and drink Saisons. Why aren't Saisons as cool as they were, say, 5 years ago, Morgan?
That's a good question. We, as we were discussing earlier, it's such a great utility beer. I mean, it's a cold weather drinker, a warm weather drinker. You can have it with spicy food. You can drink it with a stew. It pairs with just about any situation or food that I can think of. So I hope to see them make a little bit more of a comeback than they have so far.
It's a Swiss Army knife of beers, really.
It is.
Yeah.
Now,
Exactly.
you were chatting on Twitter earlier this week, Brian, about like DDH Saison and things
Yeah.
like that. And I believe you said that it didn't exist because there was no hashtag.
There were no hashtags.
There was not,
according to
but
Twitter.
you got the hashtag started, right?
I
Okay.
created it. I tweeted one of those out there, so now it is officially a thing. Run away and they start brewing it.
Well, this is what I thought of. Is one thing with Saison is folks don't seem to mess with them too much. I mean, like we see with the IPAs with hazies and milkshake and all of this. How far can you go with a Saison before you've just totally defiled it?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I think as people brew that style, the tendency is to make it the classic style, right? Even ours is loosely modeled off the Saison DuPont, right? We want to put that homage out there to those like very traditional styles. But craft brewers are really good at doing everything within every style.
Right.
And that never really slows. So, it's a yeast driven beer in a lot of ways, but adding some hops in there, let's do the DDH Saison.
I'm sensing a Beer Guys Radio and FlyteCo collab Saison.
I think we are.
I'm on board with it.
I am all aboard.
I feel like
what hops would you want in there? You want just straight saws, or you thinking something else for your DDH?
You know what? Let's bring it. Let's make it interesting. We know there's a lot of new hops out that we've never got a chance to play with because we haven't brewed in a few years. So, and there's some really great ones. I'd have to think about that. Anything pop into your head, Brian?
Well, when I mentioned it, my thought was I want to try this, but it's dealer's choice, because if each Saison seems like it has different characters, so you'd want to pick the hop you think that would best, support and complement your particular style of Saison. We always did Mosaic a fair amount with ours.
Did use a lot of Mosaic in ours, and I really dig. We did a peach Saison version as well, and I really dig stone fruit with a Saison. Like I think those go well together. So we could get a hop
citrus flavors. They really go well. We actually, and Morgan mentioned it earlier, but Saisons pair so well with food. We just did a beer pairing dinner, and the whole menu was amazing. We did 4 courses, but the standout in the winner to me was a citrus salad with the Saison. And it was,
I could see that for sure.
And it blew everything else out of the water. Just that flavor combination, the way it came together, which, I mean, I wanted, the red IPA and the duck birria tacos, but the salad still held its own. So
that other one sounds really good too.
Yeah, I was like, I'm down for that too.
I'll do that.
We've done a passion fruit version of the Saison that you're drinking as a collab for the I forget which anniversary it was for beerdrop.com, one a distribution partner. And it was phenomenal. That fruit essence coming through with the yeast character of the beer. They work really well together. So yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity to play within the Saison category.
So if you were going citrusy, what could you do? Like Citra, you got Mandarina Bavaria?
Yeah.
You got Lemon Drop. I'm like, you could actually have a cornucopia of various citruses involved that you could select from. So
I can't believe I'm forgetting the name, but what's the one that's got the wine characters?
Oh, Nelson, is it Nelson Sauvin? Yeah, Sauvin. Yeah, that would be
the New Zealand stuff.
Yep,
with the Saison. I've thought like gin barrels, so you could
if you had
get some, bring some of those piney hops in there. Let's get crazy, man.
Or you could put
juniper berry.
Even put dry juniper in.
Well,
it's not too crazy though.
we had a beer the other day with the Phantasm powder in it.
Okay, yeah,
which is like that grape must thing that's coming through.
Yeah.
Okay. I had just read about it like 2 days before. We happened to be in the liquor store picking out doing some R&D, the difficult side of the job.
Yep.
And found it in a beer, decided to go for it. I don't know if I could tell the difference, to be honest, but it seemed cool.
See, it's fun, man. That's it. Get a little crazy. And then I think the next logical step is to milkshake it.
Oh, of course. You got to add lactose.
I mean, how can you not, right?
Right.
Well, if you're going there, you're going glitter. And then
I was just about to say glitter. You do need the glitter. Like at that point. Yeah.
What is that again? It's a DDH.
It's Disco Saison.
Disco Saison.
Yeah.
Right?
Come on, let's make it happen. That could be volume 2 of the collaboration series that we're doing now.
Yeah, it's the milk disco.
The milk disco.
Milky disco. Yes. Wow.
The
Milky Way
like
disco. A good idea.
Yeah, no, it goes downhill fast, doesn't it?
It does, man.
Yeah,
good stuff.
We haven't even gotten to breakfast cereal yet. So anyway, go ahead.
Right.
Carry on.
So many options. Guys, we're going to back it up a little bit. Can one of you share with us kind of the story of how FlyteCo took flight?
Yeah, I guess I can chime in there. Jason and Eric are the two, and so Jason's here with us, and Eric's our third partner. They bonded over aviation and beer in college, and really delved into that aspect of it as engineers. I ended up being Eric's next door neighbor here in Denver. Met these two guys that really knew how to brew good beer, had a great concept of what they wanted to do, and immediately gravitated towards it. They invited me in and kind of realized that, hey, we got the beer dialed. We understand exactly what we're doing from an engineering perspective. Jason's a chemical engineer. Eric's an aerospace engineer. I feel like people need to come to our brewery and buy the beer. So there needs to be a people side of our business, which happened to be my area of expertise.
Gotcha.
And so, yeah, I mean, that was kind of the formation, born in the backyard, brewing in 20-gallon pots and, improving processes year over year, building fermentation chambers and, just a lot of trips to Home Depot, a lot of different homebrew setups. And then we started on the path of opening a brewery and we were just stubborn enough, just smart enough, and frankly, just dumb enough to stick with it, to see it through to open.
That last part's important.
Yeah.
You gotta be the right amount of dumb.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have to scale it back at times. We have it that in abundance.
There's too much.
But Jason, I don't know if I missed any part of that story there, but that was the synopsis.
No, that's it's fun. Eric and I have known each other a long time, and the idea for the brewery was kind of born on a cross-country flight. He was out in Seattle at the time, and his grandpa's plane was out there that he had inherited. 1946 Aranca Champ, basically balsa wood and fabric.
Right.
We had a toothbrush and a t-shirt, I think, between us. And we flew for 3 days over the Cascades, all the way back to Denver. And it was an amazing flight. But along the way, we were kind of both working our engineering jobs and thinking, maybe we've enjoyed this beer thing. Let's come up with a business plan. Let's see if it has legs. This is the time in our lives to do it if we're going to try. And it all just really snowballed from there.
My favorite part of that story that Jason just told is that they're flying over some highway. I forget what it was with a pretty strong headwind and looking down, and I mean that thing probably has like 80 horsepower. It's not a lot, and so top speed's not much faster than your car could go, if that. And with a headwind, definitely not. And what did you look down and what did you
pass by the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile?
That's awesome.
On I-80. So that's humbling experience.
I hope that he was looking up at you too and going, "We're passing a plane."
I'm sure he was telling all of his friends.
Is that a kite or a plane? There. I can't tell. It looks really old. I don't think it's really a plane.
He thought it was one of those balsa wood gliders, like through it there. So
yeah, I mean the first time Eric took me up in that plane. It's you sit front and back, right, in the shotgun. So he's sitting up front flying the plane. I'm sitting in the back, and we're flying around for a little bit. And he goes, "Hey, reach under your seat. There should be some balloons." And I'm just kind of like, "What?" So I reach under my seat, and sure enough, there's a pack of balloons. He goes, "Blow one up." Okay, what are we doing here? And he goes, "All right, now open the window and let it out." And I'm like, "Open the window? Like we're in a plane, man. Like you don't open the window in a plane." He's like, "We're going 50 miles an hour. Open the darn window.
You're safe. You're safe." Yeah.
And so we let the balloon out, and he goes, "All right, now help me find it. We're gonna go pop it." And that's what we did for the afternoon. Is we blew balloons up. I let them out the window. We turned around and looked for it and popped it with the propeller.
That actually sounds fun. I would be down for that.
That's so surreal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a very interesting experience for me because I hadn't really spent a lot of time in small planes in my life, only, a couple of times before that. And open the window,
throw out a balloon
was not a thing.
Yeah. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We do need to take a break, but we'll be back very soon with more from FlyteCo Brewing.
You stepped all over the outro music, Tim.
I didn't even think about it. I did. I broke my own rule. We got like 2 rules, and I broke one there.
Hey, we're doing good over here. I turned.
You guys are rocking it, man.
Damn the darn.
Yeah.
By the end of it, Tim's going to be dropping swear words in the middle of the show.
Right there. Thank you for tuning in to the the Beer Guys radio show.
Well, I loved it because I'm seeing Nate do the whirly up thing, and I'm seeing Morgan start a story, which is a perfect
the timing,
description of
timing.
our entire business interaction.
That's just it. What did Jason say about today's?
The worst part about that is I actually wanted to hear the end of the story too.
Oh, I did too. Yeah.
Yeah. We all wanted to hear where it
I'm
was
glad
going.
I got to hear about.
We'll edit it all out.
Yeah, it's all going on the cutting room floor, but we got to hear it.
Actually, live stream, so people watching.
Well, what's funny is we described going on the show today, and Eric, our third partner, is not on. We volunteered because we're more social, and Jason described it as, "Oh yeah, Eric doesn't want to go on and watch Morgan talk." Not listen.
Is that an accurate statement, though, Morgan?
Not listen. Watch.
Because
listen implies like listening,
paying attention.
Some active
watching and waiting for him to stop.
Watch Morgan talk. He's
doing words over there. I'm not going to do anything until he stops doing words.
No. Oh yeah, you want to share that, Jason?
Well, we just did this predictive index tool for part of opening the new location and building our management team, and it's terrifying how accurate these things can be. But one of my favorites with Morgan was he needs to talk out all of his thoughts.
Okay.
And it was
100%
true.
So it's like a behavioral tool that helps you with team building. And so you have your whole team take it, and it teaches you how to interact better with each other. And it's really useful stuff. My favorite from my own was delegates freely with loose follow-up.
Okay. That's you, Morgan?
To a T. Just, hey, go do that.
You're passing it off and then forget about it.
I hope finger guns are involved because that seems like a finger gun type of thing. Can you take care of that for me? Awesome.
My man.
Why would it still be on my plate if I just put it on yours? I don't understand why it needs to live on both plates.
I trust you. You'll take care of it. It's all you, big boy.
Delegates freely with loose follow-up. That's great. I love that.
We gave
Can you put that on a t-shirt
to his wife? She's just sitting there laughing, going, "Yep."
Like,
she texted me today, giving me crap about it. It was like, "Hey, can we post that on the fridge?" I'm just
He's like, sure. Can you take care of that?
Exactly.
Yes.
That would have been the perfect response. Yeah, no problem. Feel free to take care of that whenever you want.
It's like, why don't you go and take care of
guns.
I'm not going to follow up with you on this. So I hope we just get it done.
I do want to see on a t-shirt with finger guns in each side, like ornamental finger guns shooting up in the air.
This has been a very productive.
I even took the picture.
I'm glad we could have this meeting, folks.
This has been very productive. We're gonna have a collab beer and a merch line out of this so far, and we're not even done yet.
I would like to back up a little bit due to the new flow of excellent ideas, and I kind of think our beer needs to be called Finger Guns.
Finger Guns? Oh
yeah. Or if we call it Milky Disco, maybe the guy on the disco floor.
He's got.
But that's the lactose version of it. That follows up just the regular dry hop, or maybe not. Maybe
it could be a series. I feel like it's a series.
A collab
series.
An
experimental pilot brew system. We can do
finger guns in each one of them. That theme goes the whole way through, but just in different applications.
Yeah, we have a
one for every color of the disco ball.
Exactly.
Well, I think we need one of those shifting. All labels need to be those shifting holograms.
Oh yeah.
So he's going.
Oh yeah.
Or
I think that there was an article about cans, some can provider actually or label maker being able to do that. But
can you put a GIF on a label yet?
There was
kind
work
of the
towards
version,
that.
right?
Yeah. I think
there's
a
GIF is just a modern hologram.
Just wait until we get tiny stick-on LED screens. That cost like a penny.
That'll be amazing. Looking forward to that.
Load them up with all those micro nano transistors or whatever.
Do you realize how much everything is just going to sparkle and we're going to go half blind with every surface will have all the graffiti will be even more so because you can prefabricate it and just slap it on something when you're walking by and there'll be graffiti all over everything.
Yeah.
It will all be blind because of all the light.
Gonna be great.
That's great.
Yeah.
we have a 2.5 barrel system going into our new location. So
Awesome, man.
if we want to do a finger guns disco saison series, 5 kegs at a time, like name the day. We don't care.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Like,
and I already regret having the small system.
Yeah, right.
You knew this was going to happen walking into it. You kept saying, "Oh, we can experiment," which meant we can tell you to do stupid stuff. That's what that means.
Yeah, exactly
We can
right.
Experiment means Jason
get a little
carrying out our stupid ideas.
Is this the West Coast there?
Indeed. Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, I didn't get a chance. We talked about that, but the beer name there, Tipsy Nipper. Where's that name come from?
Yeah.
Was
So
it another conversation like this?
Should this
We're
be on the
always-
show?
As
We're
all
always-
good ones are.
Yeah, we
It's
talked-
it's
we talked
PC.
about
We
one
it's PC. We can share it or not. But yeah, no, it's the Tipsy Nipper is a Belgian aerobatic aircraft.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And so the guy who designed it and built it, his last name was Tipsy, and he named it after his granddaughter, whose nickname was Nipper.
Okay.
Okay. That's
And so it's a very small, maneuverable aircraft, and we thought, hey, we're brewing a Belgian saison. Is there an aviation term that comes from Belgium? And good old Wikipedia delivered. So here we are.
They're there for
How
you,
about
yeah.
that? Say it's G-rated and yeah.
It's G-rated. It doesn't seem that way, and people mispronounce it on
nothing
purpose all the
risque
time.
nothing risque or dangerous about it at all.
No, it's very pure.
Yeah, I'm being very aware of my enunciation every time I say the name. So
Yeah, you don't want anything to slip
yeah.
with
Ooh,
the Tipsy
boy.
Nipper.
Yes, exactly.
when I was in high school, I lived in a little town in Northeast Arkansas of about 18,000 people, now down to about 14,000 people. And there was a haircutting place in town called Nippers Clippers. And some kid, they had that sign like sets out that you stick the letters in there and it said,
Oh no.
so
Yep.
someone changed it to penis nippers, of course.
Of course. Well,
And-
that's gonna happen.
That was not the change that I thought was gonna happen.
Yeah.
I
So-
expected something else too, but all right.
In a town my size, that is big news that like anyone under 18 is just hilarious, and all the older, that's appalling. I can't believe
better for it to be big news than small news. So
Right,
that's
these
fine.
kind
I
of
do
hoodlums.
declare. I do declare.
This is atrocious.
Egad. Yes.
Yeah. No one ever found the guy that did that.
It's
It was, we know it was you. We know.
of course.
He's got intimate knowledge of this story.
It eludes them to the day.
Yeah. Somebody's
All right.
watching this right now. It's like
That's
son of a. I finally
Dun,
got
dun,
him.
Cold Case Files, episode 472.
Well, one of my favorite small town news stories. So I'm from South Dakota,
Okay.
and got a regional airport there, and it's aviation related. This is somewhat applicable here, but I'd been in Denver for a while at this point. Went home. Front page of the Rapid City Journal was longest wait in airport history for Rapid City Regional Airport. 11 minutes at the TSA security line.
Minutes.
Front page news.
Terrible, man.
Jason, what's the airport identifier for Rapid City?
It's all the U.S. identifiers for the airports have a K as the initial identifier letter, followed by so Denver's
KRAP.
KRAP.
Is it flying into crap?
All right. I saw that coming a mile away.
That's good stuff, man.
Hey, it's better than it being unexpected.
It is. Yeah, unexpected. We're flying into where?
Yeah.
What?
Hey,
I
unexpected.
spent time in Yankton, South Dakota as a young lad because I grew up from the time I was 2 till like 12 in Nebraska.
Okay.
So we would go up there to I think is it Lewis and Clark Reservoir in Yankton, I think. So we would go up there with our scout group and we'd go fishing and boating and camping and all that stuff up in Yankton.
Yeah, there's a big scout camp there.
Yeah, that's what we used to go up there. I don't remember details about it because it was many moons ago, Brian.
Many
But we
moons
had
ago.
a good time with it.
Indeed.
Cool.
Indeed. We're in 3. We're on 3.
We're going into 3.
Okay.
All right. All right, guys, we're going to go back in.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Shake it back!
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. I want to give a quick shout out to one of our great radio affiliates, KLZN 1490 AM in Susanville, California. Catch Beer Guys Radio on KLZN every Saturday at 3 p.m. Now let's get back to FlyteCo Brewing.
Guys, we just cracked into your Heading 270, a West Coast IPA. And I was going to ask this, guys. I think the West Coast, we're seeing a resurgence of the West Coast IPA. I'm seeing more and more breweries release them. When I check the TTB website for label approvals, we're seeing a lot more West Coasters coming out. So you guys are a little further west than we are. Has it stayed popular out there, or is it seeing a resurgence in your area as well?
It has. You know, the hazies are all the rage, and so that's
right.
a big seller for us as well. But we've really seen a lot more people coming in asking for, you know, that a little more traditional IPA style. And it's been fun. The one you're drinking now, the 270, we do a kind of keep the base beer the same and the malt structure, but then rotate the hops, and every version is a little different. So it adds something new, but you know, every time we brew it, it's kind of that rotating version of, hey, what hops do we want to throw in this one and keep it fresh? But
So I was curious what the name means, Heading 270. I'm sure it's an aviation term, and I have almost no aviation knowledge whatsoever.
The compass.
Is it
compass.
is it west? Is
270.
that what it is?
Heading
That's
west.
west.
Okay, I was wondering. I figured it might be a west reference.
What's
but
90 times 3, Brian?
1/8.
It's 270.
Is it 270? Okay, yeah. No. I'm not a calculator, Tim. How
That's
could
fine.
I ever know
I'm
this?
sorry.
How could I ever know this?
The world may never know.
No,
Yeah, it's never
unknowable.
eat soggy waffles. You're going.
There you go.
Okay,
You got that.
you know what? I'm going to live by those words. Yes.
Live. Good stuff. Let's see. I had another question here about West Coast IPAs. Do you think people are getting a little hazy fatigue, a little milky fatigue here?
I mean, milky, probably. I hope so. Hazy, I don't. It doesn't seem so. We have our fogged out hazy IPA on our menu, and we'll release anything. I mean, this Aero Mexico Mexican lager that I'm drinking right now, that Tipsy Nipper Belgian Saison, the Heading 270 you guys have, that doesn't really matter. And we're always comparing it to, hey, did it outsell the hazy this month?
See how
it ranked against the hazy.
Did it come close? Because there was a long time that no matter what we brewed, hazy would outsell it 2-1. And,
I get it.
we can get close now, but in full force, our hazy IPA just absolutely crushes the competition, no matter what we do, what specials we run. So from the consumer's perspective, because they're buying what they like, it's tough to compete with a hazy.
Still can't compete with the hazy.
From what you're saying, though, it sounds like other styles are starting to gain on it. Too. So maybe it's losing a little bit of that perch.
I think so. But at the same time,
some of the lighter beers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is where we've seen it. You know, and I'm sure you guys know, but like, you know, as a smaller craft brewery, having a lot of lagers in the lineup is hard. It takes a lot longer to make them, and that ties up tank space, makes kind of the logistical side a lot more difficult. But, you know, that Mexican lager can start to compete, especially when the season starts getting nice and we've got spring and summer ahead.
Yeah, it's almost like
same thing. We got a blonde ale going in the tank tomorrow morning. I'm going to be in there brewing to really fill out the lighter side of the menu.
Yeah, it's almost like palate fatigue rather than hazy fatigue.
Understood. Yeah. And, you know, I saw way back in 2020, someone made the comment that, hey, we're going to see a surge in lagers because you can't sell beer. People can't come to the brewery. Nothing's moving. Now you can afford the real estate to lager in. So,
yeah.
If that, you know what, silver lining of the pandemic, maybe we get more great lagers out here, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
Everybody needs a good lawn mowing beer.
They do. Absolutely, man. We love it. Like we mentioned, we're going to Little Beer Fest here soon where, celebrating those kinds of beers. And I was having a chat online earlier this week where you see so many people who maybe are not quite like they like craft beer, but they're not weird freaks like we are with beer, and so many of them say, well, every beer is an IPA. And the simple fact is if you think that, you're just not looking beyond the IPAs, because the hazy, fruity, milky milkshake, this and that gets the hype out there. But every brewery you go to, with a couple of exceptions, is going to have a good variety. And you're probably going to see a Pilsner there, or at least a light lager. You're going to have a more drinkable, you're going to have that blonde ale or a brown, a lighter porter. There's good variety out there.
Or perhaps even an amber or red ale, which we're nearly extinct.
No, that's
probably you're speaking my language.
See, getting him in there, right? Yeah.
I actually saw something where Jason had mentioned he was it Ambers that you're a big fan of?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now talking about a style you don't see.
Profile, it speaks to me.
We were talking about how saisons don't get the love. Amber ales, that's one there that just not much love for them anymore, huh?
Which is so interesting to me because it, in my mind, those were a lot of the staple beers at kind of the start of the craft brewing industry. You look back to kind of the call it in the 90s, and amber ales were what was craft beer. And I feel like that's definitely shifted. Now it's very hop focused and driven. And part of the reason, I think hazies have been so popular is you've kept all of the tropical flavors, the different fruits, elements that people really generally like, all the grapefruit flavors, but you've removed so much of the bitterness where it's so much more approachable. It used to be yet kind of to your point, just those kind of crazy craft brewer advocates that were really looking towards the IPAs. Now it's everyone. Everyone wants your hoppiest hazy beer.
Yeah,
we
but
still
it's not the bitterness that it was.
We still get people coming in that think that bitter hoppy is craft beer all the time. Oh, I don't like craft beer. Well, let me ask you a question. Do you not like bitter beer? Yeah, no, I don't like bitter. Like, okay, have you tried the other 3/4 of our menu?
Yeah, that's it. We've said many times there's something out there for everyone.
Oh yeah.
If you're a wine drinker, if you're a bourbon drinker, what have you. I did some spots with our local radio station, Extra 106.3. Shout out.
Yeah.
And the morning DJ there, Tug Coward, he said he likes whiskey. He's like, I just never got into beer. Now he was a step back from the bitter to where a lot of people think beer and they see the Bud Miller Coors. That's still their mindset of a beer. But he said, I've tried a bunch of different ones and I just, haven't found one I like the taste of. He's like, I like to sit down with a whiskey and, a whiskey and Coke or something like that. I'm like, I guarantee you, I can find you one that would hit that sweet spot for you. It's out there.
I wonder if he would be into a barrel-aged amber beer.
It could be. We did talk
funny
about
enough, we make one of those.
We do.
How about that? How did I know that, Tim? What?
We're reading each other's minds. It's great.
Look at that.
Wait, beer that tastes like whiskey? Sign me up.
Yeah,
count me in.
Well, there's a lot of beers out there right now, which I think would appeal to people that are like they're thinking of beer being a certain way. It's like, no, these taste like cocktails, with a beer background. But
that's I was chatting with.
It's one of the best parts of this industry and of the beer side of things is the diversity that's possible is truly amazing.
It is,
everything from sours to dark beers, light beers, hoppy, yeast-driven saisons. There's so many different flavor profiles. Someone just needs to kind of explore to get it.
I wonder what hasn't been explored. Well, you never know what hasn't been explored until you explore it. Right?
Yeah, that's one of those things. Well, I mean, people keep trying to push the envelope. They're going, lately it's been the cold IPA, which is kind of not really a new style, but kind of a new style, and people are pushing there. So. And my idea of the double dry hop saison, I've not seen that, so that's a possibility. It could be hazy, maybe not. Who knows? So there are options out there, but I think that people like we were talking about earlier with the saison. Some styles are approached with reverence, and people don't want to mess with them. But once people realize that they can mess with them, all bets are off. Anything can happen.
There's no telling.
Yeah, exactly.
And the IPA will never be the same.
It never will be.
Yep. You are listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We need to take us another break, but we'll be back very soon with more from FlyteCo Brewing. Guys, we've talked a lot of general beer talk. We're getting ready to go into the fourth segment, so we will make sure to talk about your brewery, more specific about the brewery.
Oh, yeah,
Tyler, I was just trying to give Tyler a shout out. We were chatting on Facebook earlier, and he had a brown ale that was I think it was a whiskey. Whiskey, and he said it tastes like a cocktail because the barrel in it was so heavy. So he said it's whiskey brown ale. And Tyler down in Texas, drinking that Texas beer, man.
Yeah. The whiskey amber reference I made, you guys made like a whiskey barrel aged amber for like your second anniversary. Is that right? I think I saw that somewhere.
Look at you reading up. That's exactly
doing
what
the homework.
I gotten pretty good at this. A little bit of in any other way I could do this, it would be a little creepy, but for a show like this, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy is either very well read and prepared or super awkward and creepy, and it just depends on your profession.
A little bit of A, a little bit of B.
That's been one of my favorite barrel aged beers that we've done, because the amber has a little bit lighter character than a lot of the traditionally barrel aged beers, and so it really allows the balance of both the beer to shine through in that malt profile, but also the barrel to really take hold and showcase what it has to offer.
I saw that and I was jealous. I'm like, I've never had anything quite. I don't think I've ever had an amber that went. I'm going to say I don't think so. Now I'm not 100% sure about that, but an amber that went into a barrel. I like this idea.
We did it twice. We did it. What was the most recent barrel was a Booker's barrel for the second anniversary.
The first year was from a local distillery, and they were 4-year bourbon barrels. The second time was with Booker's, so that rye character that really, really came through the amber profile. I have not seen very many of them, but I came across one and it stuck with me. And once we opened the brewery, I was like, this is what I want to do for kind of our 1-year party.
Do this.
And the other thing I loved about it was, so often when you get those barrel aged beers, they're big. They're 12, 13, 14%. And that's great. They really take on those whiskey notes and those barrel notes really well, and that alcohol heat. But having a 8% ranged amber barrel aged with a lot of the same characteristics was something you could actually drink, a full glass of,
right,
and not be completely fatigued on it.
I want to say
they'll get you.
I want to say not Black Butte, but Deschutes did a whiskey Butte porter, and I want to say that it wasn't too much bigger than their regular Black Butte porter, which is a pretty reasonably size a porter, not huge, but nice and whiskey, maybe an extra percentage or two. Not too bad.
I'd love to try that, because Black Butte is the porter that I cut my teeth on. I went to school in Oregon, and that's the classic porter in my mind. It's just been the same for years and years and years.
Going the other direction with that, they do a Black Butte NA now as well.
Oh yeah, the NA.
Oh yeah, really?
That's right.
Which is the fastest growing category. I mean, it's something that I think we all need to dive into. Now sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
And get it figured out. Yeah, because we had a call last night. Somebody called into our trivia night and said, "Hey, can I bring my own NA beer in and enjoy your trivia night?" And yeah. And then I'm just like, we also need to stock some more NA beer, because this person's going to come hang out, and we love making beer and enjoying everybody's company, but we do need to pay rent. So we should probably sell this person something.
We talked not long ago to Keith Villa out there, because he started Syria Brewing, and he's doing NAs with a little cannabis dipping into them there.
He's actually focusing more on the NAs than the cannabis, because I think they're taking off more just because they don't have to be in a dispensary.
Right.
I think
he said he kind of did the NA ones for people that didn't want the cannabis side, but his main focus is or did you say he's focusing more on the actual NAs than the cannabis NAs?
I think so now, because they move easier and faster, because they don't have to go through the dispensary.
Yeah,
right? That's part of it.
Gotcha.
So,
there's not too much competition yet either.
Right.
No,
There's a lot of runway to make a good NA beer and really start pushing it. Whereas, we're both blessed and, and cursed a little. You walk into a liquor store now and there's amazing craft beer selections. And a lot of these buyers are doing a really good job, but it also becomes overwhelming. So the NA market, when there's 2 selections or 3, there's a market opportunity there for sure.
That's my favorite term is that, they're calling that market segment sober curious.
Okay, I get that.
I wonder what it's like to be sober. I forget.
And that's the official term for that growth in that market segment is sober curious.
I saw some chatter on Twitter.
I didn't make that up.
I don't doubt it. Sober curious, man.
I'm sorry, it just gets me every time.
I'd say that I kind of fall into that. If you want to use it as a term, I fall into that because a couple years ago, I had some medical things. The doctor's like, hey, take it easy on the alcohol. He's like, you don't have to quit. He's like, just take it easy. I'm like, you know what? This is a great excuse for me to explore the NA beer world there.
Yeah.
And we drank Athletic and Bravas and Partake and Syria. And I've only found one, guys, just being perfectly straight honest. And I offended a brewer making a comment about this one time. I've only found one that I think could totally fool me in a lineup with alcohol-based craft beers. But it was a peanut butter stout from Bravas.
Yep.
And almost, indiscernible from the real thing. All the others had a little taste to them, but I still found I thought were really good. And if I was in a situation where I could not have alcohol, I would still feel like I was having a beer with my buddies.
Yep.
Just without the alcohol.
Oh, I don't mind cracking open an Athletic. In fact, it would be a nice, if I were out and about, if it was available at a party, it would be a nice way to continue hanging out and sipping on something while you're there without kind of ramping up that that body's ABV situation though. But
you don't have to say, hey, I gotta leave. You're like, I can stay and have 3 more. I'm just gonna have 3 of these.
Exactly. Maybe have a couple cocktails, and you know what? All right, I'm chilled now, but that's enough alcohol, man. Let's go. To be
fair to all the NA producers, should they see this, we're not the typical clientele. I think it would be hard to fool us that something that has no alcohol in it, because I know the spirits that try to do it none of them are even close to passable. Yeah. And but the beer, I've been impressed by how close they get. You can tell. You can. If you've been drinking like we've been drinking, you can tell.
Yeah, and we're looking for it too. I think we're looking for it too. Well, Nate, you did February because you're a weirdo. Dry February instead of dry January.
Shorter month. That's a good idea. It's a good thing.
You know what? Yeah, good idea, man. Is he a weirdo or a genius?
Genius.
So,
he skips leap year.
Well, let me ask you that, Nate. Did you feel left out, like here in the studio or doing a month?
No, not at all. I mean, we have enough non-alcoholic beers in the studio, and then I brought in a bunch of Untitled Art non-alcoholics.
Those are solid too. Yeah, those are really good.
But I did mess around with non-alcoholic cocktails. I messed around with a lot of non-alcoholic beer. Coming in here, no, I never felt left out.
Yeah. They
Where's your microphone?
No, Nate. Nate.
I feel like that name doesn't apply anymore.
Yeah, right. Oh man,
I can't call him that when I fly.
On this episode, like some of the athletes that have done steroids, he gets an asterisk next to his name. No, Mike Nate.
Not always.
Yeah. Barry Bonds, Nate. Yep, got it.
Has Mike.
He sometimes has a performance-enhancing mic.
Right.
So
yeah. We should just make him yell. Like, ask him something, but don't move the mic, and just
get him a little bullhorn.
Yelling Nate. Okay.
Yeah. Why is he so loud? He doesn't have a mic.
It's a really great idea, guys.
There you go.
We didn't give him a mic because he talks so loudly. He didn't need one.
Need it.
Yeah. No mic needed Nate.
No mic needed Nate. Man, this show has been the greatest. So much excellent conversation.
I think it's a collaboration with that name.
There you go. Yeah. I'll work with you a little bit. We'll turn it that way a little bit. Yes.
Hey, we're making that saison. I don't care what anybody says, including Jason. He doesn't have an option anymore.
All right. Awesome.
Jason, surprise, Jason.
I just, as long as I can get some of it, that's all I want.
We need to get.
We get some. Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
why don't you guys come
If you're
out
in Colorado, we'll brew it together.
come out and you guys
See?
can come to the brew day.
See, I need to get back, and actually, I can double dip because my day job, one of our regional offices is Denver, so it could be a business and business on business. A double stack
on business. Yeah, double stack
A
of business.
double stack of
Nice,
business.
Nice. You get a little bacon
Yeah.
on there. Anyway, I don't know if I can pull that off, but you should definitely go out there and assist with that, and then bring some beer back.
Get out there. I may never come back. Denver's one of my favorite towns to visit, and I've got a buddy that moved out there. I think he's in Aurora, but you know what? I talked to a lot of local folks about this, and many of them. Do you guys know Tokabe?
Yep.
Okay. See, even some of the locals there, because I was infatuated with that place when I went out there. I loved it. Went out there, got the fry bread tacos and
the fry bread stuff. Yeah,
and all that stuff.
They,
so that was
they just
my jam.
announced. Yeah, they just announced their new location in DIA. So they're opening a spot concession in the airport.
Good stuff, man. I ate testicles when I was out there, so that happened in the airport.
Did you also go get Rocky Mountain oysters after that? Or?
This show is over. Man, look at that.
It's like I had to get these out of my mouth. Let's go have some Rocky Mountain oysters.
But yes, I did. Yeah.
I'm just curious, you know, how adventurous you were.
I ate testicles and
Zing.
then Rocky Mountain oysters.
Like, hold on, what?
Yeah. Wow.
Nobody's
harsh.
Nobody's telling you how to live your life, Tim. You do
We're
whatever
never
you
going to
want
get
to do.
invited back, Morgan. Come on.
You put whatever you want into your mouth.
Be better.
Yeah. Gosh.
I can't.
This collab is over.
No, Nate's coming.
That
We're
was a good one, man. Right. Yes. It's like, forget you guys. We don't need you here. You just go out and have your weird snacks, Tim. We got this beer covered.
Yeah, Nate's flying out for the collab. That's what.
There we go.
That's it.
All right. Yeah, that's okay. That works. What's that?
The Hop Ambassador.
The Hop Ambassador.
The Hop Ambassador. That's right.
Yeah.
That's you can change your title to Field Operative when you go
There you
out
go.
there.
Field
So-
Operative. My old title
Yeah.
back in the day.
That
yeah.
was when Brian started with Beer Guys. The quick history of Beer Guys, it was me and another fellow that started it, and he moved on, went to work for a brewery and left the radio business altogether. And Brian and I have been friends for years, and he did our news, and he was our field operative for events we couldn't get to. And gosh, it's been 4 years now.
Something like that.
It's been
Yeah.
a while. So
That was great for me because all I needed to do was, honestly, I just got free passes into everything and then just
yeah,
read
worked
some
well for
news
you,
on the
right?
on the air. Yeah, it worked out
Yeah.
perfectly. And then I wound up being on the air full time. So yeah.
Surprise, Brian.
Yeah.
We sneak you in like that. What's that?
You want me to grab the second can of this now?
Sure. Yeah, I didn't even realize I'd finished it that quick, but yeah.
So we could.
More stout.
Do we want to get? Maybe. I was
What's that?
gonna say there's that collaboration beer, but we really didn't talk about it at the head of the thing, so we could just do these.
You can drink whatever you want, Brian. There's no.
That's true.
We've already decided there's only 2 rules here. So. All right, I'll get a little more stout, then we'll get back into this. Brian, do you need a top off?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, there you go. That's fat free, FYI.
Oh yes, it's completely free of fats.
Low calorie.
Low cal.
But is it vegan?
Is it vegan? Does it have the swim bladder in it?
It is. It is vegan.
Ooh, all
There
right,
you go,
perfect.
man. You're set.
We have had to answer that.
Yeah, that's
I mean, there's websites out there that keep up with stuff like that. Lets people know, hey,
Yep.
is it vegan? Is it kosher? Is it this, that? And they will go around and send email.
the thing that I find kind of annoying is there's been a
I'll be right back.
a meme or an infographic or something that keeps getting spread around that talks about different beers being like non-vegan friendly because of
the isinglass.
Isinglass is it, and most of them, at least several of them, I think it was Guinness was one of them. They've changed it over because there was so much pressure on them to get away from that because people didn't want to drink a swim bladder. Even though I think that for the most part, that's as a clarifying agent, it winds up in the part that's not pulled out of the tank. So theoretically, you're not getting very much of it at all, if you even were when it was there. So yeah.
And it's pretty small volumes going in, but there are great alternatives now, right? So the thing that was kind of historically used for its natural properties has been recreated, and we can do it without using that other version. So
what was the other thing? There was a moss, right? I'm trying to think. Was it?
Yeah, Irish moss.
Is it Irish moss
used in some of that?
One of the mosses. So there's a moss that hangs from trees and you shouldn't touch because it'll give you hives. And there's another moss that you can use in a beer, and it's important to get those right. Is Spanish moss the one that hangs from trees? Okay, just don't put that in your beer. The Irish moss will help clear your beer out, which isn't a very high priority anymore because everybody wants their beer not to be clear. So apparently,
yeah, it's kind of funny watching how that used to be a thing, right? This has to be perfectly clear before we can release it. To it's a little bit hazy. That's a good thing.
Yeah, the people with the had issues with it's got some chill haze. There's some issues with that, and that isn't perfect. I remember back in those days when we were home brewing, it being a focus of ours, because of course we wanted it, because it's still a beautiful clear beer, looks pretty sexy, and we really wanted to achieve that. But if you didn't and the beer still tasted good, not too worried about that, honestly. And I have to wonder if a little bit of that was people realize there's this kind of clear fetish right now, and it doesn't really matter. People, as long as it tastes good, people will be fine with it. You just got to tell them that it's okay to drink it, and they'll be like, "Oh, okay, then we'll drink it."
I'm a big believer that it's all very style dependent, right? If I'm drinking a Pilsner, if I'm drinking kind of classic German lagers, it should be very, very clear. That's part of making that beer in a quality way. But depending on the other styles you move to, especially hop driven things, or Hefeweizens, things like that.
Yeah,
there's an accepted amount of haze for all of those, even before you get to hazy IPAs. There's a little bit of that. Yeah, that's what we're tasting. That's what's in the beer, but it is very style dependent.
Yeah, the original hazy. Yeah, that was the one style that everybody said, "Oh, well, that's supposed to be hazy." Everything else, that stuff isn't clear enough. That should be cleared up. Yeah.
Hey, we can't figure out how to get this yeast to drop. Let's serve it like this.
Yeah. We'll just call it a half. I'm like, this is an IPA. We'll just call it a half.
Hoppy half.
Yeah. And I've seen a few fusions of that style too over the years. Not many recently.
Did you just flip me off?
No.
That's another style I feel like you don't see as much anymore that I'd like to come back or see more of.
Which one's that?
The Hefeweizens. Yeah.
Oh, the Hef for sure. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
We just on our show last week.
That's right.
Iron Shield Brewing, they were talking about the seasonal release of their Hefeweizen.
Yeah, we
got
should
a little Hef talk there.
We should talk about bringing ours back. This is your Hefe speaking was the name of our Hefeweizen.
Let's buy another tank. I'll bring it back happily.
More tanks.
You always ask for expensive things. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. He's like, all I want's a Hef. You're talking about we need more tanks.
Why can't you just make 30 kegs of beer?
Yeah, more.
I did go to a brewery one time that had I think they were 1 barrel fermenters, like Spike Brewing or one of those that kind of the crossover thing. I think they were little 1 barrels, but they had 20 of those little 1 barrel fermentation vessels.
It sounds exhausting,
right? It does, though.
A lot of management, I would think, and a lot of things to go wrong. And
well, aren't you guys just? But it sounds like a lot of work. Oh, too much management.
I mean, we were giving Jason crap about a 2.5 barrel system, doing the math on the labor involved. You're perfect. Well, that's just it, though, is that we're warped because we're used to not paying you. The moment we have to start paying somebody, all of a sudden,
it's crazy.
This is going to be tough.
We got to pay someone
just
for this?
A hanger full of gallon jugs, with little airlocks. Perfect. You want some Hefs? I can give you some Hefs. How many gallons you want?
Fermented Hefty kitchen bags.
Hefty kitchen bags.
What's that? A 13-gallon batch, I think.
What's with all these trash cans? No, those are fermenters.
You know what?
That's the Hefty Ale. It's a good one.
The Hefty Ale. Exactly. It's like those fermenters that Bold Monks has with the liner bladder.
The
same
bladder
thing, man.
Yeah.
Putting the Hefty in Hefeweizen.
That's right. Hefty Hefeweizen. This is really good. Where'd you ferment it? In trash bags.
That's
You get that,
Yeah.
you get that faint aroma of chewing tobacco, like the spearmint tobacco.
Yeah.
That's from the bag.
That's the
From the
bag.
bag.
I don't like this collab as much as I like our other one.
Right. This tasted like a trash bag. Thank you.
We
Thank
did
you.
have some trash bags for one of our
glad you
that had
noticed.
like it wasn't it like a chewing
we
wintergreen
did.
chewing tobacco
We
smell to it?
unknowingly bought
It was-
like these mint scented trash bags.
Oh
And
yeah,
when you-
because your trash needs extra scent to it.
Oh my gosh, man. They were on a roll in our studio. I mean, what you see here, this is our entire space, and we don't have windows. We're in basically a conference room here. We're inside of a brewery in a conference room is where our studio is. But man, you take one of those things and pull it off the reel, and the whole studio still smelled like smokeless tobacco, like a dip of Kodiak
Skull
or
or a Kodiak.
for an
Oh
hour.
yeah,
Yeah.
Gosh.
You packed the bag real quick before you.
Right.
Back in the bag, yeah.
Pop, 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 pop.
Put
What
a
are you
pinch of the
doing?
bag between the cheek and yeah, there you go.
One pinch, the rest of the bag's just hanging down your face
That's
there.
You can just you can just work through the bag that way. That'll last you all day. You know?
I just
All
don't-
on the
I-
bench flying like that. So
I don't know be a fly on the wall in that meeting. Like, you know what? I wish trash had an extra scent
yeah. Well,
because it doesn't
mint?
replace the
Mint?
scent; it adds.
Sure.
the scent.
Right.
You don't.
Does
you don't
someone smell
replace
dead
scent.
fish with mint?
Oh, somebody's a pairing expert on trash and other things, like a pairing of scents. I'm like, fish. Oh, yes, mint.
Mint.
That's a great one for you.
Yeah,
That's somebody's job. Somebody has that job.
they do. Yeah, I saw. There's a machine, I guess, that can measure odor now, but they still use, like in deodorant factories, people to, this was years ago. I don't know if they still do, but basically they were armpit sniffers.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Is
wow.
the deodorant working? Get someone with it. And what's bad is they probably wanted someone with a keen sense of smell to make sure that it was working.
Mhm.
That person does not get paid enough.
Right. Whatever they're making, that's
Doesn't
not
matter
right.
how much it is.
Many years ago, I saw a picture of somebody doing that job, and I was revolted by the picture alone.
Yeah.
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 I could not.
What do you do for a living? I don't want to
That's
talk
why I
about it.
just-
I don't want to talk about it. So
Odor assessment.
yeah,
Like what? Let's not get into it. It's highly technical.
driving a Ferrari. They're like, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. There's a guy on TikTok that's his thing. Is he goes up to people in
Smells their armpits.
no.
Oh,
in
okay.
crazy expensive cars and ask them what they do for a living.
Oh,
Ask them what they did.
okay.
Yeah. What'd you
you were
do for a
gonna say, I
living?
bet-
Did you go to college?
I thought you were going to say give them mint scented trash bags.
I mean, he could.
Have you
Just-
the latest mint? This is
That-
this season's
Have
mint.
you tried your trash in this yet, sir? Ma'am?
See, Brian and I are not TikTokers, but that could be our break into the world. We'll like do it as a bombing run thing. Like it'll be hidden video. We just run in and whip one of those off a reel and give it to someone and leave. And see their reaction to getting
They just gave me a trash
a
bag.
mint trash bag.
This one smells like cloves.
This show is weird.
Yes.
This is
Yeah,
weird.
sorry. Yeah, sorry.
The
about
hosts are weird. That guy without a mic.
Yes. Yeah.
Great guest though.
Yeah.
Great
You
guest.
guys are great.
Fantastic guest. All right,
this. Yeah,
guys. should we-
your bar is low.
just set it there.
That's, yeah.
If
That's
you
how we
set-
get by. Our
if you
bar is
set the
very
bar
low.
you're always impressed, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right, guys. Shall we get back in and talk about your breweries? Sounds
Let's do it.
good. Let's do it.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Cannonball coming.
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. If you enjoyed the show, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/Beer Guys. Patrons get cool perks like Beer Guys swag and commercial-free episodes. Now let's get back to FlyteCo Brewing.
FlyteCo Brewing, Denver, Colorado. We've talked a lot of just really good general beer talk today. Your breweries. We want to talk about your breweries here. So you opened your first location in 2019. Is that correct?
Yep.
And you have a second location coming that sounds pretty awesome. Would one of you guys like to tell us a little bit about location 2?
Yeah. Yeah, Morgan, you want to take this?
Morgan, let's go, man. Let's do it.
I gave you the opportunity.
He doesn't like talking at all, so I want to give him the opportunity.
Okay, all right, that's good. Bring him out of his shell.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, we had the good fortune of taking over the former Stapleton Airport control tower, which was Denver International Airport up until 1996. And so an aviation themed brewery gets to open in an airport control tower. And I mean, that's the story. We're incredibly excited about it.
That's pretty awesome. I saw, and I'm trying to figure how this gets in an aircraft control tower. Maybe this is your other location, but is there a bowling alley in one of your breweries?
Yeah,
Okay.
in the new location. So
All right.
it was renovated. So it sat vacant for 20 years, and then in 2016 it was purchased and renovated by Punch Bowl Social.
All right.
And so entertainment bar chain across the United States. They put in 6 lanes of a bowling alley, 2 downstairs, 4 upstairs. There's also a 18-hole miniature golf course on the patio. And then an arcade, some dartboards, other entertainment aspects, all of which we'll be keeping and carrying through our theme. Because, I mean, this day and age, the cost of entry is a quality product. So yes, you need to have excellent beer, but what experience are you providing? What memories are you helping people create? And so what a perfectly crafted space for us to take over with the aviation history, but also with all of these entertainment aspects built in that, frankly, without this opportunity that the pandemic and closure provided, we would have never been able to walk into.
You know, Morgan, you mentioned the experience now, and I think that's something that we've seen shift over the last handful of years. I'll just say handfuls. But, you know, I remember in Georgia, and I know things have been different in Colorado, but there was a time that all we could do here was a tour and tasting. And you could open a brewery in a warehouse and do nothing to the tap room at all, and people would still come there, you know, to visit. Even when our beer laws changed for a while there, a lot of the tap rooms were still basically just tables in a warehouse that they put a rope to rope off the brewery. But now it is getting to where people are going for the experience. They want more. They want more than just beer at their tap rooms.
As the market segment grows, it has to take more and more from other markets, right? And so it used to be that we were just competing with ourselves and nothing. Where else could you get a craft beer in your community? Well, you couldn't. So where did you go drink it? At a warehouse. But if there's a warehouse and then across the street there's somebody that serves a burger in a restaurant and also makes their beer, well, I'll go to the place that has the burger. And then across the street from that is a place that has a burger and some live music and good craft beer. Well, I think I'll go there. And so how many of those boxes can you check seems to be the shift in our industry. So our market segment continues to grow, but it's not growing from nothing. It's just taking from others.
Right. And like where we are, Ironmonger Brewing is our partner here. Our studio is inside Ironmonger Brewing. They have their brewery. They partnered with a meadery, so there's a mead tap room there, and there's an axe throwing range. So, you know, you can come out, have a beer.
Checking all the boxes.
How many boxes can you check?
Yeah, exactly.
So I want to be clear about that. Are you actually opening the tap room inside of an air traffic controller tower itself, or are you just attached to that? Because that would be pretty amazing. Either way.
The answer is yes. So it's all technically one building. So the air traffic control tower, which is 164 feet tall, built originally opened, I think it was in 1962, 1963, to service the airport, is still there. The first 2 floors that we occupy, to get from the first floor to the second floor, the elevator is still in that control tower. The stair core around the elevator is the first 2 floors of the control tower. The tower itself is currently inaccessible due to some ADA regulations that we're attempting to overcome with our landlord. But hopefully in the next 2 to 3 years, we can get the top of the tower activated. We're working back with the city of Denver to try to get some support on that end, because it's no small task to remodel something that high up.
So what you're saying is that's really the VIP seating up there.
VIP.
Yeah.
That's where we'll put you guys.
Yes,
We'll be there.
We're there,
when
man.
we fly
It's better.
directly in. Can we fly directly in?
Oh, I'm
since you've got
seeing
tower?
finger guns there.
There's
Yeah.
finger
Nate
guns.
was
So there's
dropping
a
the
big
finger
park,
gun.
guns.
big
Yeah.
park just to the east, and I'm pretty sure you could land right there, no problem.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, so you could
Yeah.
fly directly to it. All right, then that's perfect.
I'll blow up a balloon and throw you out the window on the balloon. You can just
See,
glide
easy.
right in there.
It'll be
Brian.
great. It'll work perfectly.
It's gonna be beautiful. You know, you
what
talk
could possibly
about
go wrong?
nothing for me. Yeah. You talk about the experience, the experience is here and you're not really adding anything. You're taking it from other places. And I got to admit, I feel a little torn because I love my beer bars. I love my craft beer bars. We have a couple of great ones here in Atlanta, more than a couple, but we have the Porter Beer Bar, Brick Store Pub, Argosy, just ones that the Nest is a great beer bar. We've got Truck and Tap, there's good places to go for food and beer. And I know that I've heard some getting hurt. And guys, I know you all too well in Denver, Falling Rock, just a fantastic place. It was kind of a victim of, the changes in the pandemic and that. So is there a happy answer there? Is there anything we can do where everybody can live in harmony here?
I mean, I definitely think so. There's always room for a quality tap room, whether you're making your own beer or whether you're serving a high quality beer from somebody else. It comes down to that experiential component, right? Are you helping people make memories? Are you delivering a high quality of service? Do people feel good when they leave your establishment? Falling Rock fell victim, not to make a pun, but I did. Falling Rock fell victim to the downtown plight, right? Downtown Denver's, it's been difficult. There was a lot of road construction and building construction on their street for many years in a row that inhibited the flow of traffic to their building. The rising costs of downtown and downtown rent. And frankly, a lot of people have moved their interests from downtown pre-pandemic in a lot of cities back to the suburbs. And so if, there's a ton of room for that successful beer bar in your local neighborhood downtown.
In that place. Gotcha. Yeah.
Right. And we want nothing more than for them to succeed, because who do we distribute our beer to?
Sure. You got to have those partners out there, man.
And who best represents that product, right? Like you can sell your beer to anybody, but is it going to make an impact if you sell it to just anyone? No, you want that local friendly bar where the bartender knows your name, knows your style preference, and you walk in and he or she says, "Man, I got something new for you. Try this." Oh, I met the brewer the other day. They did a pint night. They just came by. Those people that can share our story on our behalf are always going to be valuable and necessary partners in our business. So yes, there is always room for a good craft beer bar.
I'll share a story that I think really highlighted for me the quality of some of our beer bars here. Brian and I, about a year or two ago, we got just insanely infatuated with the side pull taps. The slow pour side pull taps. And we went to the Porter Beer Bar here in Atlanta because they were one of the few that had the side pull. And we got smart. We learned this. We'd order a regular beer and order the side pull so we could drink that while we're waiting on the slow pour to get out there.
A waiting beer, if you will.
But there was one time when I saw our server coming to us, and they got caught up at a table. And anyhow, a couple minutes went on, and that the foam dissipated on that slow pour, and the owner was walking by, and without saying a word, Molly grabbed the beer off the tray and took it back and topped it up with a proper slow pour foam top. No words were said to the server, to me, to anyone. She just made that beer its best and then brought it back to me. So, and that experience, people who care to that level, there's always a place for that.
Oh, absolutely.
And so what you described is the experience. And so you don't need the bowling alleys. You don't need the control tower. You don't need the 18-hole miniature golf course. That'll bring people in for the first time. Sure. We're taking over this iconic building, right? To where everybody's curious. Everybody wants to come give us a shot at least once. But the experience that you just described is what gets people to come back time and time again, because you left feeling like you were an important person to that business.
Guys, we've not got a lot of time here, but I'm going to follow up on your question. Why are people going to come back to FlyteCo?
I think it's a little bit of a combination of all of that. It's we take a lot of pride in our beer. We take a lot of pride in our service and developing that regular culture. It's something now we see at our original location on a daily basis, is the same people coming back day after day. We get people stopping in for the first time, traveling through, but it is really building that community culture. This second location is going to be a bigger chunk of that. And it's just a much bigger building, but it's the same overall vibe underneath of, we want to be your local spot.
Good stuff. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. Morgan, if people want to find out what is going on at FlyteCo, what's the best place for them to do that?
Yeah, FlyteCoBeer.com is always going to have some updated news. You can also check us out on Facebook and Instagram at FlyteCo Brewing. And yeah, would love to see you by the tap room, and stay tuned for the collab saison coming out with Beer Guys Radio.
And just so everyone knows, that is FlyteCo, FlyteCo.
Yep.
FlyteCoBeer.com. Check them out on the socials. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, that about wraps it up for this episode of Beer Guys Radio. Coming up next week, Toppling Goliath Brewing, Brian. We're going to talk to Toppling Goliath. We are Beer Guys Radio. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest in craft beer. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great week, and don't forget to drink local. Cheers.
Clear. We didn't have a chance to get to the them picking the hops and flying them back and that sort of thing.
Yeah, man.
I was trying to throw it in there, but there just wasn't
It's all
a spot.
good.
Yeah.
You know what? We put notes down, and we actually got to the point where we would intentionally start putting fewer notes because we just felt like, oh my gosh, we're not getting. And even today, there's a good handful of topics. And
yeah.
So our show is an hour, but actual time is actually 40 minutes with the way it works out. 40 minutes just blazes by, man. It's gone in no time.
But we get to address some of that in the live stream too.
Yeah,
so that helps.
Yeah, we got to
pick
talk
up some of the slack.
So check it out.
Arguably, the live stream was the better show this week.
It's off the hook. Off the hook.
Well, I always like it when we do these, the way they develop that organic feel. Like there might be one topic to start it, but then it takes its own path, and it's you're right though. We always come into these like, how long is it? We can't talk that long, and then it's gone.
And then it's over.
That's it. We get we like beer and we like to talk, man. And most people, you can sit down if you share those common interests, you've already got a good start there. And Brian and I have mucked with so many other little things that we usually find other common threads. I love flying. I want to finish my pilot's light. Oh, I was going to ask, is anyone a commercial pilot or recreational?
So we're all private pilots.
Cool.
Not me.
Eric and I. Sorry.
All right.
But Eric's got his instrument rating. I'm working on my instrument, but I've got a seaplane rating and some other endorsements. But we always did it just as a hobby. But one of the most interesting things has been watching all of the other pilots come into our space. And
that's cool. Yeah.
It's everyone from military to commercial. One of my favorite recent conversations was 4 Delta pilots and captains and a Southwest, and they all just ragged on the other guy because they had him outnumbered.
That's good stuff.
You get military, you get students, you get flight attendants, grounds crew, everyone, and it's pretty fun to hear all their stories because they're all aviation related, but in very, very different ways.
Interesting. Will you be a fly-up brewery? Be able to bring their planes right in there to the
someday.
I would love that.
Okay.
I guess
All right.
sounds like they have the space for it.
Well, that's what I was wondering.
There's a big park. I mean, you might get dinged by the FAA once or twice, but
I guess a helicopter fly-up brewery.
Get your beer fast and get out of there before they just
production
just throw it at you as you come by.
Go. That curbside delivery, man, it's the big thing in the pandemic now, right?
Yeah,
it is.
Well, just have the sky hook on the tower.
Exactly.
Ooh,
yes.
So you say you do was it the float or the ski plane or whatever? Is that the one that lands on the water?
Yeah, so float plane. So
have you done the thing that I think it was the pilot in Indiana Jones did, where he landed the plane on the water and he was just out there fishing on one of the little pontoons or whatever you call them. You sit there, you land in the water, you're fishing while you're waiting for Indiana Jones to come running back with
we did everything except for the people shooting bow and arrows at us.
Okay, all right. Well, you don't need that part anyway. I mean, that makes it more exciting. But
we had someone else running from shore, but my brother can catch the next play. It's fine.
That's it. There'll be another. We'll be back in 3 months, 4 months or so. We'll catch it.
That would be amazing. I'm going to go fishing. I'm just going to pick a lake and land on it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that what you guys do when you go up on those fish trips?
Yeah, it is. So we fly. My family's from South Dakota, Rapid City area. We fly out towards over to Minnesota and then up through Canada, and we've got a number of spots picked out there where, basically land on the water. We've fished off the pontoons before, but it's pretty cumbersome. So we usually dock it on one of the shores. And then we'll bring a 1 horsepower outboard motor in the boat and then go take one of these little, 2-3 man, like aluminum shell boats, put our motor on it and then go fish for a few hours and then fly out.
So
the only problem is you can't drink while you're fishing.
Oh, that's true. The whole flying and drinking thing is a little verboten, isn't it? So
they should go deer hunting with the plane and put a grappling hook.
Open
on
the
there.
window.
No. Put a grappling hook on, like when you're snagging, going fish gigging with a treble hook.
Oh,
so they just find like a herd of caribou or deer and just low fly over them.
Gig a deer. Just fly it back.
Just treble hook in with a deer there. So
treble hook. It's just a grappling hook to catch deer.
Yeah, I imagine the plane
that's probably very legal and recommended by a lot of places.
How did the plane crash? Oh,
yeah.
Oh gosh.
Also, it's also
we hooked an elk and all.
Right.
It's also very humanitarian, very quick.
That's it.
Oh, very.
Well, you got to be good to get the kill shot.
That's right.
You got to be.
Do it over Christmas. They'll confuse us with Santa, reindeer falling from the sky.
I feel like I should cut this part out of even the live stream.
Probably, maybe, but yes.
Yeah.
Don't do this, kids at home. Don't fly a treble hook and try to hook
There's
an elk.
one kid right now that's going, well, my plans are ruined.
Well, I was gonna do that. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
That kid's the reason there's warning labels on things.
That is exactly. Yeah.
That same kid was ready to iron clothes on body before
on the body. Yeah.
The do not iron clothes while on body warning.
One thing
that kid was Tim, by the way.
I've noticed lately that like the prescription dogs that they advertise on TV, a new disclaimer they're adding in there is like, let's say the drug is called Phalaris or something. Do not take Phalaris if you're allergic to Phalaris. I'm like, why do we got to tell them this?
Also, how would you know?
I guess that's the thing if they find out. And sometimes I like to hear about the warnings and then run through my head what happened to get that warning.
Oh, it's a great mental exercise. It's very entertaining.
Like, because I'm thinking someone had to know they were allergic and then take it again and have issues and try to sue.
But wait, let me try this again.
Yeah. Like, why did you do that?
Well, they didn't explicitly say don't take it if I know that I shouldn't take it.
That's right.
So
that's exactly right.
If you're looking for a case, that's the way to do it. It's like, hold up. Yeah. They didn't tell me not to. I don't fall into any of these other categories.
Corporate lawyers are going, yes, we need to say that. Do not shoot self in face with gun. Do not.
Oh man.
Do not gig a deer with a grappling hook from a plane. Do not. These are jokes. These are poor jokes. But they are jokes.
But don't do them. Also, don't do them.
I support the host of the Oscars.
I support not doing those things.
Right. I am fully in support of not doing these things.
I am behind your campaign to stop this.
Hey, do you guys know what Chris Rock's got on his face this week? Fresh Prince.
Boom. All right. So we're gonna edit. We're pretty much gonna delete this entire live stream at this point.
Give me some cheering or something. That's good.
I need a sad trombone, really.
This guy.
Fresh Prince.
Finger gun.
Yep, guys, finger guns.
Thank you so much. We really had a blast talking with you and just getting a little crazy here. So it was
it's been a lot of fun.
Thanks,
really
guys.
We'll having us on.
Absolutely. You know what? Let me sign off online here and hang on just a second. We'll do some closeout here. Folks, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Thank you so much. Not Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube.
There we go.
Thanks for joining us, chatting with us. We appreciate it. And we'll see you back here next week for Toppling Goliath.